watching Halenville Live with Fruitcake Tony. Woo!
All right. Yep, and there we are. It is Tuesday night, boys. What's happening?
Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, it is.
What's going on, Tony?
It is
Charles?
5 minutes after 9, July the 11th, 2023. Fruitcake Tony, Charles Green, Ed Dubril along. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. Great day today, even if I was at work. But, hey, it's good to be alive.
It is. Absolutely.
Any day above ground is a good day.
Yes, it is. How's it going there, Charles Green?
It's going well, you guys. Hope everyone's having a good week. It is absolutely hot as heck in North Carolina. It's going to get worse. Dodging rain showers here and there all week, but it's just thunderstorm stuff, you know. Afternoon garbage. Other than that, everything is wide the heck open.
Life in the South.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a nice one. Nez, yes.
Yes, it is.
It's awesome.
Right on. This is Halenville Live. This is Tuesday night. We are going to be talking tonight about what it was really like to be a Van Halen fan as a kid, you know. And a lot of us were in the minority as kids being a Van Halen fan. Not that that was a bad thing. I was happy that it was kind of like my thing, you know. But we're going to get into all of that and look back at just what was going on back when we were kids, just becoming HalenHeads like that. And why them and not another band?
That's
You know?
good question. Everybody's story is different as well.
That's right. There's a lot of answers to that
Yeah, I'm sure.
question, isn't there?
Well, I mean, a lot of bands they get more popular as their careers progress. You know, especially if they have had a bunch of success too. But we're going to try to convey tonight why Van Halen really and truly was the biggest rock band in the world as early as 80, 81, and a force then. Yeah, it was.
That is true.
Yeah. You know, it's tough to look back if like my kids, if you're not as old as we are, and we're old as shit, you know. I mean, So I was 18 in 1984.
Hold on, I need my glasses
Um,
for this. Speaking of
so
old.
yeah, I first saw Van Halen at age what 14. Um,
Now, were they the first band you saw, or I mean,
ever? No,
no?
no.
Okay. So you just got into them when you heard the music on the radio, or did somebody
Um,
introduce you to them?
well, it I first did I first heard Van Halen. I heard Dance the Night Away, and not because I had Van Halen too, but I heard it. It was on some type of compilation hit album of the day.
Oh wow.
Okay,
Hmm.
what were those things called? K-Tel, Charles,
Oh, can you
Mhm.
tell?
or
Oh,
something
But
like
they,
that. I
they
don't.
did not do the correct. They didn't do the studio version that was on the album. They would alter it slightly. It seemed to me. I noticed that in my experience in the early days with those kind of albums.
Like the
Um,
radio version.
yeah.
exactly. Um, but yeah, I remember those. It's funny you mentioned the K-Tel. They were a big deal, especially in the 70s. And so it was a well-known deal. Music wasn't you didn't get it the same way. You had to go out and get it. If you didn't hear it on the radio, uh, you had to find it.
Yes.
It wasn't at your fingertips like it is today.
Well, it involved a pretty girl
Oh.
and an album. Um,
Do
but
tell.
I'll yeah,
Do
I
tell.
I am gonna tell. Not there isn't much to tell about the girl, but I will tell.
Oh, come
Um,
on.
yeah, but that was and I saw him short, but I'll tell all about that as we. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. You know, I've only had one Red Bull tonight, not two.
Oh.
I'm
Okay.
drinking tea though.
Waiting for stuff to kick in, are we?
I can't drink Red Bulls. I can't touch those
I
things.
can't either.
They are just too darn strong.
Um, we're gonna do, dudes. We're gonna do some nearly impossible Van Halen trivia a little later.
That's a great question. And you guys better bring your A game. Period.
And it is nearly impossible tonight. Um, I showed them, and yeah, it's a hard one.
Yes.
Nobody may get it tonight. You got to bring it.
It's
You know,
it's a
Let's put it this
stumper.
way. If you get this right, you pat yourself on the back. Period.
I will bow down.
You can look in the mirror proudly. Let's just put it that way, guys.
Hmm.
if you do the math on it, I win about one out of every 8 weeks. Um, but this one is a tough one. Um, yeah. And so for tonight, we've decided that I posted in the description of the show that we were going to give away a 1971 D quarter and $1 million Van Halen bill, but we're instead we'll do a poker chip tonight.
Cool. Cool.
Those
Those
are
things are
great.
so cool.
Yeah. So
I've got the best one, I think.
Let's see.
which
Look
one
at,
have you got, Ed?
look at that.
The best one, Tony.
Let's
Come
see
on.
Ed's. Let's see Ed's.
Check that out, you
The
guys.
Rasta.
That's our roster.
I was fortunate enough to win this one.
All right. Show them the other side, Ed.
Well, the other side is obviously the
All right.
Nice.
logo.
Nice.
So what these are in here, there are, and I counted them. There's 8 left. But it's got the Van Halen logo on one side and a different Eddie guitar on the reverse. So here's what let's do.
How many did you start out with, Tony?
I don't know, 12 maybe.
I think it was 12.
Maybe 15.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, he's picking now.
I'm going to pick it now. All right. I got one. All right. Okay. Ooh. Good one. All right.
Good.
So it's got the Van Halen logo on that side. And we're playing for the circle.
Oh, look at this,
circle.
dude. That is a must-have chip right there, guys.
That's pretty, that's pretty rare.
Cool. Very cool.
All right.
How much is that worth in Vegas?
Priceless.
At the Hard Rock.
Yeah.
All right. So somebody's going to maybe win that. The question is hard to know.
He doesn't want to give it away at all.
It'll go back in the.
You got to
go
take
back
it.
in the chute if nobody gets it. All right, so before we go any further, let's go ahead, since we're at the quarter after mark, and let's open up the chat.
You opening the chat?
All right.
Guys,
all right, man, here we go.
Do it. Boom, boom, boom. Gretsch Zeppelin is right there. What's up, bud?
Boom.
Oh, Gretsch.
All right. Joe
Gretsch.
Hervey 84 is right behind
Good to see
him.
you,
What's
Joe.
up, dude? Dwight
Oh,
Bailey behind him.
Hitman.
Graphite and Cigars is behind him. Jimmy Ray Hawkins is in the house.
My man.
Right there.
Jimmy Ray rocks.
Quentin James. Quentin in
Quentin,
the
hope you're feeling better,
house.
brother.
Yeah, me too. I hope you're feeling great.
Hope you're feeling better, bro.
Christopher Live Sour is in the
Dude,
house.
saw Winger with Dave Z last night.
He did, man.
Dude.
All right.
Dude.
Right on.
Right there.
Yeah, Kurt 5150 in the house. What's up,
Kurt?
Kurt?
Wow,
Good
Kurt.
to see you.
Man.
There's our brother Tommy. What's up, Tom?
What's going on, Tommy? Good to see you, bro.
All righty, I'm gonna scroll up. I see Tim Thomas. What's up, Tim?
Right on, Tim. Right on,
Good to
Tim.
see you, sir.
Good to
Let
see
me
you, Tim.
scroll up. If you're just jumping in, dude, there's Patty Deal. Hey, Patty. Good
Hey,
to see
Patty.
you, man.
Right
Hey,
on.
Patty.
If you're just jumping in, say hi in the chat. It's Tuesday night. Yeah. All right. Scrolling back down.
I saw Simon Hosford was in the chat earlier, and so was Adam Roach.
Okay.
Yeah, up near the top.
Lawnmower
Tony?
tapes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lawnmower Tapes. Good to see you.
Right on, lawnmower right there, brother.
Simon Hosford. Good to see you. Adam Roach. Right
Right.
on.
You guys are like Adam Simon. Right on, guys. Absolutely.
Yeah. Good to see you guys. It is Tuesday.
I don't know. I don't think we missed anyone.
Did we get Hit Metal Works?
Oh no.
We did now. What's up, bro?
Can't miss it. Hit Metal, bro. Not even.
Joe Acapinti.
Say that again.
Joe Acapinti.
Cool.
OCC,
So right on, man.
HIT.
Welcome.
Joe, welcome.
Welcome to Halenville, brother.
That's a new name. Huh.
Yeah. Didn't get that.
Hey.
Ryan OU812, right there, bro.
Yeah, right.
What's up, fellas?
Ryan. The best guitar tone ever.
It is pretty massive.
So Ed, you speaking of guitar, you were the big winner of the PRS from the anniversary show from the Under the Bus Network here on YouTube. Those
Yes.
fellas,
Yes.
Kurt in the chat right now.
She's a beauty.
How you liking it? You
I like it. I tuned it, and then I practiced a few chords. I watched a few YouTube videos, and I sat there and did my spider exercises, and did an E major and an A major over and over again. And I was telling Charles earlier that the A major, man, I got fat fingers, dude. And they keep saying use your fingertips, use your fingertips. So, but Charles is saying just bar it. Okay, but if I bar it, don't I hit the other?
Yeah,
I don't know. But anyway,
you need to learn how to play correctly, and don't let me hack you in any way, shape, or form. But Chad, he's been asking a lot. Jimmy Ray and Kurt's been asking a ton of questions, and he's all over that guitar. That's what matters. Yes. Okay, yes. That's all that matters at this point. And yeah,
Ed's got some lessons lined up, so he's in good hands.
We haven't discussed it yet, but I might take Jimmy up on his offer.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Definitely.
That would be
That's what makes
ideal,
the YouTube special, bro.
Yeah, man.
Really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I'm gonna come and get you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, good, dude. Keep on, man. Yeah.
I will. When I have free time, I will go at it.
Glad you're enjoying it.
I bought a poster, a chart, that shows all the chords and everything.
Right.
I got it, and nice. It came with cards that you can slide underneath the strings, so it actually helps you with your finger placements.
Yeah, you may not need those, but the poster on the wall that shows the finger placements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all you gotta do is look up. There it is.
Yeah.
Right on, bro.
So I'm excited.
Once you learn them and you have them to memory, you got them, bro.
Yeah, it's this guitar is giving me a boot in the ass to start learning.
Cool, bro. Have fun with it, man.
I don't want to just hang it on the wall, as a decoration, Yeah. I already have a couple of those.
No.
This one's going to be used.
Sweet guitar. Sweet guitar.
Nice, Ed. Yeah. So Ed, you were asking me before we went in to break there, so I first heard Van Halen on a compilation album. I heard the single on this album.
What year, Tony?
Must
you remember?
79.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you heard "Dance the Night Away."
That's what I heard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the song that, and then shortly thereafter, I went to Boston, or went to see the band, not to Boston.
Oh, the band. Okay.
And Van Halen was on the bill. And so it went, for me, buying Van Halen 2 and then buying Van Halen 1. Yeah.
Started on 2 and went back to 1.
I started on 2, but I first heard that song on some type of hit compilation rock. I don't know what the hell other song, like maybe a Cheap Trick song of the day or whatever on it. I don't know.
K-Tel
Bad Company, something.
K-Tel.
Wow. But yeah. Wow. And it involved a girl and an album and listening a lot of times too. Whatever.
Okay. And
In
you
a
were
wait, in a vehicle or?
No, just on a trip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and you were going to tell us about the girl. I believe
No,
Ed. That's
there,
what he was
there.
going to do.
Yeah, I
Hey,
think so.
well, there is nothing to tell really about the girl part of it, but she was cool and had some cool tunes and yeah,
Good.
can't tell you
So,
the rest.
do you think you still would have thought of her if it wasn't for the music in the background? Like, was the music more powerful in your memory than the girl was?
I like that song at the time. "Dance the Night Away" has got a big hook, kind of sticks up.
That
up
song
there.
is magical.
Yeah,
Magical.
but at the
Magic.
time,
Magic.
you know, it was
Because it's the music that brings you back to that point in time. When you hear "Dance the Night Away," I'm sure you remember fondly of that time in your life and that particular moment.
You know-
I know I hear certain songs and it brings me right back to a certain time, a certain place, and sometimes you can even, all your senses just bring you right back just from the music itself.
Even kind of beyond that, even to this day, it doesn't just necessarily take me back to one thing. That music has been a part of the last 4 decades, and especially like back in the 80s and the 90s, the effect it had was tremendous, man. It was tremendous, and it had a lasting impression on me through, that was the music I listened to through a lot of stuff.
Right.
I have a lot of memory. That song is magic, Tony. That song on the radio play.
well,
Shoot, man.
I
Sitting in
think
the car
that
listening to that song.
with everybody our age,
Yeah.
Hey, Papa.
I mean, we're Kiss kids, I mean, so once we got into middle school, Van Halen was just the next logical step at that point. They were who me and my buddies, who we latched on to. And by 1980 and 1981, we were going to watch these guys multiple times each, go. We had the I've had every Van Halen album the day it came out since Fair Warning.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sure. They're an event. It's an event.
Yeah.
A life event. A life event. I can remember the first time in high school seeing Van Halen 1 under someone's arm in the hallway by the lockers between classes in high school. I can remember that really vividly. Everybody either wanted, if you couldn't play guitar, you really wish you could.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who had the body for it and the looks wanted to be David Lee Roth. By the summer of '79, quite literally. It just got bigger and bigger every year.
He was so badass.
Let me ask you, Charles. So Ed and me are the same age.
Mm-hmm.
How much older are you than we are?
Well, I'm 61.
Okay.
I'll be 62 this November. That's why I'm talking about retirement. The R word. I'm actually think I'm going to pull it off. Anyway, I was, born in 1961. So I was a teenager in high school when Van Halen came out.
So you were like class of 80, something like that? 81?
No, 79. I graduated.
Oh, you were
in
class of
79.
79. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're like my
Yeah. They had just
older
the
brother,
scene.
Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yes, exactly. Being a California kid in the South Bay in California, and I'm talking about the South Bay, not San Diego Bay. It's a different bay. It's right in the sort of the center of the state. And Van Halen by 79, I could care less how big they were in the world, but they were no bigger. They never got any bigger to me from 79 because that's how huge they were. They were absolutely massive
out of the
in
gate.
California in 79. And they just went up like this and they just kept getting more and more popular. But quite literally, when the 80 hit, it was the band to beat in the music industry. They set the bar. And it was multiple different things. It wasn't just Eddie's guitar playing, although it was Eddie's guitar playing, obviously. It was Dave's annex, and they weren't in the negative then. It was 83 US Festival. Things went south for them, and that's when they got their infamy, I believe. But in those days, his annex were stellar. He was hilarious. He would go on TV. He went on freaking in the afternoon. What's her name? Joan Rivers had a talk show.
Oh yeah.
And he showed up on that thing, and he said,
I remember that
Dave, man. And he shows up, and he's sitting there, and he's talking. He's like, "Yeah, Joan." He's being a rock star like no one had ever seen. You never saw Mick Jagger act publicly like Roth.
Right.
You just didn't see it. You never saw Robert Plant ever do anything like David Lee Roth. So he was unique, like Gene Simmons. I was watching, just as a little side note, I was watching a thing on YouTube, and they went to the Mike Douglas show from 1974, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes Gene out, and Toady Fields and a couple of other old school actors was sitting on the thing, and Gene comes out dressed as Gene, and he was being Gene, doing the tongue. I don't know if you guys remember the very first Kiss, 74. That was his annex. I kind of put him right there with David Lee Roth. I almost, in the back of my mind, being from that era and that time, David Lee Roth was observing people around him in a vaudevillian state, in a show way, to be, an entertainer, and he imitated a lot of
Jay?
The boisterous antics of Gene Simmons, especially when he got, when he was public and he was like on TV and on the radio. Check it out.
In those days, I think he, all by himself, I think he defined that word, rock star.
Yeah.
There is, yeah.
I look at it as he dotted the I and crossed the T twice, going and coming.
Hindsight does. But at the time, Van Halen was already huge, but you were just really discovering how good the guitar was on the stuff. You knew you'd like the songs, and you knew you liked everything about the band. But as we grew, and I played at a very young age, as we grew, we were like, this is the one of the best, if not the best, rock guitar players on the planet. Nobody is doing that. That's when it first, but the point is the popularity of the band came first.
Right.
It dawned on us. He started winning those awards, like 1981.
It never stopped.
Yeah, but
I saw in the chat, I agree with you guys. A lot of people make comparisons about Bon Scott as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sova.
Yeah. And excellent comparison. And when you compare him to like the annex of David Lee Roth, I couldn't take anything away from Bon Scott. He set the standard. He said what he thought, what was on his mind, and he didn't bend to the media just like Dave. So, yeah, I agree, guys.
Well, but at the time, that those guys, they toured nonstop. You know, I mean, when all of us can go watch these guys numerous times each tour, not to mention as much as they played in the early days as often as they could.
Every year, album tour. The record company made them do that, which was beneficial to us, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they worked their whole lives to get their break to do just that same thing. So they're young. They had the energy. Let them go. Let them rock. I mean, what was that? I used to joke about it. Motorhead toured constantly for 2 decades. I mean, just toured all over the world. I think, I don't know personally, but I would imagine that some bands and band members in bands are not truly at home until they're on tour.
Yeah.
And even though they want their time off, while they're off, they're anticipating going back on tour. Great place to be in, I guess. But yeah, I mean, puts a band in a certain comfort zone to be on tour. Your management takes care of you to a certain extent. Your life is planned. You know where you're going to be. You are sort of shuffled from place to place in an hopefully organized fashion.
You're in a bubble.
You're fed. You get, they got the party all they want. They got to interact with their fans constantly day after. What would it be like being on a tour bus and rolling from town to town day after day for year after year after year, just being beloved by fans, period. They want to be on tour. Okay. Right. They want to be on that bus. They want to be interacting.
Food, women, drugs, booze,
whatever, whatever. And
whatever you want. But they didn't recognize the finances of it either, because they had to pay for all that.
No, you're absolutely
at the end of the day.
And everybody wanted to blame Noel Monk for it. I like Noel. I really did. I love reading about him and his take. You can hear his take. You read some of these books we've talked about in the last couple of years that have come out. They talk about Noel a lot, and
they were all learning.
Rock stars, they were being rock stars.
They were pretty much kids themselves.
Noel was learning along the way, also in those days.
Yeah. So Charles, you were a senior in '79. Yeah. So before you were exposed to Van Halen, was it like Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, and Black Sabbath for you?
So it was early. Would be Sabbath. Eric Clapton,
yeah.
Mahogany Rush,
Kiss,
Frank Marino. I was really into him. I was into a guy called Rory Gallagher at a real young age. But my brother exposed me to all that. Aerosmith, early age. Aerosmith, big time. Older brother. Yeah.
See, Tony and I were talking about that.
And yeah, it morphed into, I met this guy. It was funny. High school is a definitive time for most of us in many ways. For me, musically, I met new friends, and I was kind of jamming for a little bit with a couple of guys, even though I let it go. I met this guy, Ralph Oshiro. Ralph Oshiro was into European imports. He was a year older than me. And when I was a freshman, he was a sophomore, and he was a drummer. He was into playing drums, and he was really into heavy, what we called hard rock, what ended up being called heavy metal. He was into Judas Priest. He was into UFO, big time. He was into Iron Maiden, and he was into all of the European imports, Scorpions, European imports from Germany. He was the first guy who showed me in a record store how to go to the European section. Something that I was like, European section? Why would I want to go to the European section, man? I want the American music. No. The first Iron Maiden priest that I ever listened to was from abroad.
Europe was heavier than us back at that point.
Yeah, and bands like Accept and
yeah.
Anyway, loved UFO. By the time I was in high school, they were Michael Schenker was one of my favorite guitar players. And then I was a huge, and I don't even talk about this too much, Deep Purple fan. I loved Richie Blackmore before I actually found out the kind of way he acted to his fans and stuff. I mean, I've soured towards him over the years personally.
Mm-hmm.
I still respect his guitar playing big time. But he was my guy. Him and Michael Schenker, when I was a sophomore in high school, I thought they were it. And I still love them to this day. But Ronnie Dio came along in Rainbow. And I embraced Rainbow like they were it. And I love organ, Hammond B3 organ and organs in general and hard rock. Really, I love it. So as Dio, Deep Purple was, fading out and going into Rainbow, I was coming into Rainbow. That's coming right out of the late 70s with, and I'll say it again, UFO, Strangers in the Night live album. If you haven't heard it, check it out. It's really good stuff. And I was into bands like, just everything, because that's what morphed directly into the 80s, going right on the scene. I came out of high school loving all that stuff, and I'd already been exposed to Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and any Motorhead. Motorhead was a huge influence on me at that time. And it's funny the influence Motorhead had on music in general over that whole decade I'm talking about. Really interesting. But
so when did Van Halen become?
Van Halen was.
Did they become your number one?
Pardon me?
Did Van Halen become your number one eventually, or?
They did, as far as band, because Van Halen's not just about Eddie to me. Van Halen was about the music. Eddie Van Halen wrote some of the most wonderful songs ever. Period. And the whole package of Van Halen, him and Alex. When I give Eddie credit, I'm always talking about Alex.
Poor Alex
and Dave. Okay? I refuse to give Eddie all the credit because they're a band, and that band had influence beyond Edward in many ways. They're a mountain. And so that being said, that's kind of my stance on it. But by 79, Edward Van Halen's influence affected everything in music that I listened to as far as rock and roll. He also, interesting enough, talking about it like guitar-wise for the guitar players out there, Edward Van Halen was one of the beginning guys to introduce mainstream rock in the 1980 three-note per string legato picking and guitar lead solos. Okay,
no kidding.
Because everything before that was a pentatonic, like a Michael Schenker or a Richie Blackmore. Jeff Beck arguably was doing three-note per string as well. He was. I can't take away from Jeff. However, I remember in my ears personally, Edward Van Halen being the defining guitar player on my radar, who was changing the way guitar players were attacking guitar in rock. And by the end of 1981 and 82, he had his signature, because he was the guy to beat. If you're the top dog, you're setting the standard. And since everyone was trying to at least get their chops halfway as good as Edward Van Halen, you just have to recognize the force there. You just have to.
Right. But that's the point, though. We didn't recognize that force then because they were a little band.
Hey, Ryan.
We just loved them.
Yeah.
But the guitar playing, really, we started and the world started to say, this guy, and at the time, as you said, the use of pull-offs and hammer-ons and his use of harmonics was at the time groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And 3-note per string legato picking. He actually made a statement to Steve Rosen one time. Steve mentioned it on the show, and he writes about it in his book. Edward Van Halen made this statement to him one time. He says, Steve, I'm playing too fast. I've got to slow down. I'm way too fast. Now, that's not something a guitar player normally wants to hear, because we all want to be faster. We want to be faster. And in 1980, there was a race to be fast. But Edward took a step back, and I believe personally that the reason he did it was so that he could write better songs. Write better songs. Nobody writes better songs than the band Van Halen for rock. They're timeless. They're timeless.
Well,
timeless.
They had that. They had the great songs, though, was the key. But at the time, though, as you said earlier, Roth was, though, a big thing in how they got as big as they got. You know, those songs, and what you saw and heard was Dave.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know,
Big personality.
Very true.
But at the time, we all can get enough of Dave, okay, to put it out there. All of us, some ahead of others, but back then, you didn't get tired of it.
No.
You know, that really didn't. It didn't really start to get old until, you know, as he left the band.
It's interesting. I was looking at Bent Tom, 1980 for him.
Yep.
Tommy, I'm right there with you, bro. It's, you know, the thing that's I always trying to say, and I never really can say it right. Maybe I can do it this time. The standard that they set with their first album was so huge that they had to constantly meet their last album. Okay. They constantly had to do that because they set the bar so flippin' high. And that's the one thing about Van Halen that I think is just the most special to me, is their ability to do that. I mean, it's crazy that they did it once. How many bands do we know that are one-hit wonders? After that, how many bands do we know that have 2 or 3 albums before they broke up?
Mm-hmm.
Then you
good question.
But at the time, though, they became, Charles, the biggest band in the world right before our eyes. I didn't know that was going to happen, but this started 80, 81. You know, I mean, and they became, with no radio play or nothing. There ain't nothing on the radio from Women,
in
Children,
California. They were getting played on KOS and KMET. Were playing Van Halen songs, and especially on the late night. I remember when they debuted Van Halen 1 on, I think it was the King Biscuit Flower Hour. I believe it was. And it was freaking epic. I mean, it was LA epic. Now,
was that a local show?
No, I think that was a national syndicated at the time. I believe it actually was a,
I never heard of it.
It's huge. Check it out. You can Google
Biscuit?
that. You'll see it. Yeah, it's huge. It's massive. Really? King Biscuit Flower Hour debuted for a couple of decades on radio, I believe.
Oh.
I believe. Certainly more than a decade. I'm sure of that. Very cool.
Damn, we're old, Charles.
We are.
Come on, man.
Hey, I'm only a year younger than you, Tony. Come on.
But I saw every single era of Roth era Van Halen, though, in real time. So if I wasn't as old as I was, I couldn't have done that. Not to mention all the other bands I've seen. I don't think I'd trade it. I really don't. It was perfect timing.
It was.
But quite literally for me.
I think the timing, too, of what was going on in the world because really though in 1979 and 1980 in there with the world and how you listen to music and what you did for entertainment and everything, going to concerts became really in vogue across the country. Okay, and for Van Halen to come along, it was great timing. You know, that it because with no radio play, they go out there and that's all you heard at school was Van Halen. You know, that is all you heard, and the tours, 81, everything, every night is sold out, dude. And
multiple nights. They'd come to the Forum in LA and they would play 5 nights in a row. I can remember driving by Hollywood Park, the racetrack, Christopher Silva. The racetrack, Hollywood Park, is right across the street from the Forum, Los Angeles Forum. It was called the LA Forum in those days. It's called something arena now.
Showtime Lakers. No.
Yeah, and whatever. But you'd see Van Halen, the name Van Halen, and then you just see on the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, maybe the 25th. And that's some stuff that Led Zeppelin used to do.
Jeez.
That's stuff Zeppelin would do. Zeppelin would come in and play for a week straight, but they'd take maybe one night off in the middle.
Hi, Patrick Trites.
Ed lives in a place that Van Halen and others would play multiple nights.
Yes,
but
every
us
tour.
In the South, it's always a one nighter, never anymore. But we got the goods with nearby other venues. But
maybe it was because of population density, so to speak. Because when the tour would sell out really fast, then I'm sure the promoters were like, "Hey, let's put another. Forget your night off. Let's do another concert the next night."
But here in the South, Greensboro, the only 2-nighter I ever saw was the Purple Rain tour. They did 2 nights. That's the only one ever. But for 18,000 for how it used to be. But
Charles, when did you first see Van Halen?
79.
Oh, you saw them live in 79. And Tony saw them early too. See, I was late to the game.
Everybody's Van Halen experience is different. That's what fascinates me about that band. The music is so good. It is so it literally. I can't imagine writing that many great songs. Edward Van Halen and his brother and the band, whatever version of Van Halen is your thing, the music just sets the bar. It's got swing. It's got complexity. It tells a story. My gripe with Sam is he sings too many love songs. That's okay. It's okay. That's all good. Dave didn't sing the love songs. Yeah. I don't know.
Since Van Halen 2 came out,
hey Raymond,
I and others who I know latched on to that. And man, I listened to Van Halen 2 and Van Halen 1 so many damn times.
You wore the grooves out of the record, right?
I mean, a lot.
So like I was telling Charles, I came late to the game. In middle school, everybody was in love with Kiss and Aerosmith. I loved Elvis just because of my parents' influence and the albums they had in the house. Elvis was everything. He was the king. He was everything to me. And then eventually I was turned on to not Black Sabbath, Ozzy and Randy Rhoads. And I was thinking, wow, this guy can play guitar. This is crazy.
Welcome, Patrick.
This guy Ozzy's unbelievable. And then
Shred
I didn't really get into
Flintstone.
Van Halen until probably in high school when I was so in 1980 I was 13, and so in 81, 82, right around 82 is when I started, latching on to Van Halen and
Mhm.
all that they were about, and then I went backwards to the first album. I said, "Holy shit!" And my dad would play AM radio in the car, so I didn't really hear Van Halen on the radio.
Mhm.
Um, I
What
mean, who
what happened in 1982, Ed, to make you latch on?
I
Hearing them on the radio, there was a
I think
couple of
so. I think that's
radio
what it
songs.
was. I was at some high school party or something, and somebody had Van Halen on. I said, "Who the hell are these guys?" And I think I might have heard them before, maybe in passing on the radio or something,
Mhm.
but I
Mhm.
didn't. I didn't really. It didn't really click with me until after I heard Randy Rhoads and I knew how he played, and I said, "Wow, this guy can play guitar. This is crazy." And then when I heard what Eddie could do, I said, "This is next level. This is wow."
You
So
say you were about 14 then? Is
probably
that
14 or 15 by the time
okay?
I really became a Halen head.
Gotcha.
And then I had friends as well in high school who were of the same like in music, and we all became really all about Van Halen. It was, and the posters on the wall and the whole thing, and everything changed. And
A Van Halen nerd.
and my dad used to pass my bedroom.
Nerd.
My dad used to pass my bedroom and just shake his head and go, "What the hell are you doing?" I worry about you. Who are these guys with the long hair and the all that stuff. And
I told the story one
he
time.
he wondered about me for a while until I had a girlfriend.
Oh my goodness, man.
but but yeah,
That's
he
awesome.
so and then a lot of friends that I hung out with, girls and whatnot, and um, during those years we're all Van Halen fans, and then we finally went to the concert in 1984, saw them live, and that really changed me forever. I still have
And how
posters on
many
my wall,
girls?
right?
You
You
and
know,
how
my, my
many
84, man.
girls?
I'm sorry.
84.
Oh, there was five.
Wow.
There was five, and
You
I don't
got
know
to
if any of
see
them.
David Lee Roth at the absolute pinnacle of
Yes.
Van Halen. I don't want to say popularity because they were just as popular in 83 as they were in 84. And they were just as popular in 82 in my world as they
Yes.
were in 84. And with everyone in my world, they were just as huge. Um, but their stage
Yeah.
show kept getting better. And Eddie kept getting
Yeah.
better as a guitar player. So he got better as a guitar player and he was evolving.
Mm-hmm.
Dave was getting better as an entertainer. The man was incredible. Okay. He was incredible. He was the equivalent of a vaudeville entertainer on steroids,
Yeah.
doing rock
Exactly.
and roll, man.
Yeah.
Um,
The,
you
the
had
the
to
whole
be there.
concert was a party.
My
It was.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Michael
Yeah.
Anthony, I remember the first bass solo I ever saw Michael do. He walked up, got on top of his stacks, and took his bass and just dropped it to the floor. And everybody was just like, oh my God. Nobody had ever heard anything. The bass is hemorrhaging, the floor's vibrating.
Wow.
Nobody ever did no shit like that. Nobody did
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Nobody. Michael did,
That's
though.
crazy
Um,
stuff.
every member of that band, and the thing about it is, I can remember guys my age in high school when Van Halen first came out talking trash about Alex Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can remember it because he drummed differently than other guys. Alex
Yeah.
has a swing all his own, just
A lot of
like Eddie.
symbols.
Okay, and his drum set. Once you see him live, you finally realize. I mean, you can see on the first album. The impression we had then, we couldn't go on the internet if we didn't see it in a magazine. And when 1979 was around, there wasn't in LA. They were starting to get out there. You were starting to see them in the media, as small as media was, and so you took that album and you literally memorized every square inch of every photograph of this. You're looking, what kind of symbols are those? What kind of symbol
Liner
schemes?
notes. Oh, yes.
What kind of guitar is Eddie? What's Eddie playing? What's it? So the whole evolution of that was just, it was sick. It was sick.
So how many of you, well, here in the panel and in the chat, actually had a tape recorder next to your radio and waited for your favorite Van Halen song to come on so you could record it?
Saturday morning, washing the car in the driveway. You had it in the garage. You listened to the radio, and you had it ready. And you shot over there, and you hit both buttons at the same time.
Right. You were hoping that they were going to say, all right, Van Halen's coming up next, with their latest or whatever, Okay, then you get ready. Yeah, you run over there and do the 2-button play record. Make a mixtape.
I think I once hurt myself. Summertime Girls by Y&T was really, really big one summer. I don't know if you guys remember or not.
Oh, yeah.
But I did the same thing for that song. I think I tripped and hurt myself in my garage one time. Now that I think about it. True story. True story.
But all the telephone calls to the local radio station here in Raleigh. Can you play Van Halen? Can you play Van Halen? Can you play Van Halen?
Yeah, and then
Stop calling me.
And then you go to your local record store and you buy Circus Magazine, Kerrang, Hit Parader, because they had posters and it wasn't Playboy with the centerfold. It was a Van Halen poster in the centerfold.
Well, the media at the time, you had the album cover, and for those of you that weren't old enough to drive, me at the time, you had the Cream magazine and Rolling Stone and all the rock mags at the mall on Friday night. Which ones are you going to buy? You're going to look at all of them while you're at the mall.
That's right.
And the
the
others too.
Were you more rural? Where you couldn't walk to your local record store, or
I could, but yeah.
It was pretty far.
Yeah.
See, I lived in the city, and I could just walk downtown, and everything was right there.
About a quarter mile away from me, there was a little thrifty drug, and then right next to it was a little hole-in-the-wall mom-and-pop record store.
Yep.
I think it was called the Record Hut. I think it's what. Okay. For some reason, that's the name.
Here, there was a chain, and you may remember, some of you in chat, Record Bar.
Oh, really?
And they were in every mall. I don't know how regional or what, but they were all over North Carolina. I know that. Yeah, but
I'm trying to think of what record stores were in the mall in my area. Newberry Comics was a popular one. Strawberries was another one. That was at the mall, and usually if a mall was big enough, they had 2 or 3 record stores at either end, and you went to one to see what they had there, and then you said, okay, let's see what they have over here, and you walked all the way to the other side, and mall life was a lot of fun, wasn't it, back then?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You would just hang out with your friends and just check out all the girls and see what they got, so to speak.
And try to get into the R-rated movies when you're not of age.
Yeah.
And we did.
Everybody laughs about
a movie place at the mall, and we knew the people that worked in there, had a lot of fun there, a lot of late night after they'd show us movies, and we'd drink, and oh, God.
I would go see a PG movie and then, wait for it to start and then sneak around. Because they were in the same hallway. You just leave one of them and go around the corner to the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, we're going to get back into that, and I'm going to show you some stuff from school. You see the backpack right here, the Van Halen backpack. I'm going to show you my Van Halen. I showed you guys this about a year ago. I'm going to show you my Van Halen from high school, my actual one. I think I used the last couple of years, but I found this a couple of years ago, and I didn't know what it felt like. There was stuff in it, but there was some cool stuff. I kept the contents in it, and I'll show you.
Oh, wow.
What
I remember this.
Found.
I remember this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen this.
But I'll show you that after a while. But let's try to give away Let's try to give away this cool poker chip. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. Why not? All right. All right. Nearly Impossible Van Halen trivia. And
This is very almost impossible.
we're playing for a Van Halen poker chip. Looks like this on one
Oh
side. The
man.
other side is the Circles guitar. Hey now.
Must have.
Should we take any bets, Tony, to see who we think might get this one? Well, Christopher Live Saw was always a favorite.
Always.
I will never count him out ever.
I would like to see somebody new
No offense, Christopher.
win this damn thing. It's a cool chip.
Christopher's got his accolades, man. He's the winningest dude, man. My goodness.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Right there, bro.
Well, if you're the winner, we'll load you up with all kind of cool ass guitar picks. Yeah. So I hope somebody who hadn't won wins. But you're gonna have to know your Van Halen tonight.
I'm looking at the names in the chat, thinking of who I put my money on.
All right, let me go over there. Good luck, everybody. If you are the winner tonight, there's a trivia winner's email down below. Email me your name and address. I'll mail you out that poker chip with other cool stuff. If you don't have our guitar picks around here, we'll give you some of those. We'll toss in a Ed DeBrill pick, maybe a Charles Green coming soon pick. We'll definitely give you a Jay Turner Mean Street pick. Unless Jay wins, which I know he's lurking. But yeah.
Tony, these are in the mail, by the way.
Okay, cool.
I can't wait for the Charles Green pick to come out.
I know.
It's going to be awesome.
That's coming up, right, Charles?
Let's talk to Greg last night.
On the way.
Yeah. You know, Greg at Legend Picks is such a class guy, man. What a nice guy. Nice business guy. My goodness. Pleasure to interact with the man. I got to thank you guys for this pick, man. This pick is all Ed and Tony. It really is. It's a picture of something from the graphics of the show. I got to put my name on it, but I'm blessed. It's beautiful. Cool as shit. It really is, and I'm very proud to have it. It's very cool. Thank you, you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, it's special.
Legend
I really like
Picks
it.
link is down below too. So
yeah, Greg's cool, man.
Yeah, Greg will do it justice. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is Nearly Impossible Van Halen trivia. Thanks for being here tonight. We'll talk. Don't let me forget to talk about merch. New merch is.
I've been holding off on mentioning it the whole show, Tony.
Merch is.
I really have.
That's right. But yeah, new merch is here. Let's roll down the trivia road since we got the juices flowing here. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, guys, good luck.
This is Nearly Impossible Van Halen trivia. Now, this, just so you know, all of you always do, but this trivia we do, it's a fun way for us to give back. There is a delay. between the StreamYard and the YouTube, but that mixes your chat order up so that what you see will not be what we see. So whoever has the first correct answer is the winner. I just got to find the question now. I may have erased it.
I can't do it from memory, Tony. I'll tell you that right now. I get it close.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I keyed.
You were supposed to say, you goddamn did what?
Nah, you've always got some backup. You'll be fine, man.
All right, so let's get into this. Good luck. First correct answer that we see is the wiener.
The wiener?
Right,
What?
Lucy? All right, here we are. Good luck. Get ready to type.
Here we go!
Here we go. All right. David Lee Roth and his father used to go to the movies a lot when he was a kid. What was the first movie that he ever saw? He was 5 years old. I need the movie title.
Get your shovels out and dig deep. You got to dig deep, guys.
Yeah, you got to dig deep on this one.
That was a good movie, Ben Tom, but no.
So Andy Carson, my first guess was your guess. Wrong. I was wrong. Ben Tom, excellent choice right there.
Yeah. Oh, all right. They're
Look
coming
at
in
this.
now.
Look at that. You guys are going old school. Oh my goodness. They're all over this thing here.
I don't think so.
Wow. Okay.
Huh.
Good answer, Tommy.
Come on, people. You can win one of these.
Wow. Good guess. Raymond, good guess. Good guess, KXM. Absolutely.
Yeah. The Holy Grail.
Yeah.
I think you got him, Tony.
Need the movie title. He said this.
That's a good guess, Jimmy Ray.
He has said this. He has said this. Talked about this.
It's kind of quiet. Everybody's on Google at the moment. Yeah. Oh, Rambo.
Yeah.
Oh, Frankenstein. That's a good guess.
Dave's older than that. Yeah.
Yep.
Johnny HD, that is a very good guess.
Yeah.
He's going back. He's going back, man.
You got to think about how old Dave was. What
He
year
was
he was 5.
5.
Although I can't talk, I still didn't have no clue.
Word. Now, I try to write these things to where you can't Google
them. This has nothing to do with the question, but the first movie that, as a child, that I ever went to was with my parents. It was Fantasia, Disney. Whatever year that was, 65, 4, 5.
I remember going to the old Strand Theater in Lowell here, and I saw Abbott Costello meet Frankenstein and
Excellent.
the Mummy and
Yeah.
Werewolf and all that. That was
Yeah.
Some great
And I also
answers.
I also saw an Elvis movie as well. I forget which one it was, but it could have been Love Me Tender. I forget. But,
That was a classic, bro. That movie
Yeah.
was flipping huge. It was huge.
Yep.
Now, with these great answers, we are talking about David Lee Roth here.
Hit Metalworks wants to know if there's any hints, Tony.
I just give him one.
Hey, Boner Jams, right on, bro. Right there.
The Diamond one. Yeah, Diamond David Lee Roth. Damn straight.
Brian Basement.
Nice to see those guys. While you guys are still thinking, let me remind you, Jay, Kurt, Boner, Caleb, they're over at the Under the Bus Network, and they'll be on the internet tomorrow, Wednesday, 9 p.m. You can meet us over in their chat, and we'll kick it over there with them. Always a great time, and always great to see those guys too.
Do you know what's going to be on before that, Tony? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
What's tomorrow? Wednesday?
Yep.
Under the Bus is all I can think, dude. I got nothing.
Mr. Hagar is going to be on the Eddie Trunk show.
Oh.
At 7 p.m.
Wonderful.
They're going to be interviewing at Sammy.
Nice.
Very cool.
Okay.
I might go live.
Guess...
What was that, Ed? I couldn't hear you, brother.
I said I might go live.
Dude.
I'm just kidding.
There's nothing wrong with that, bro.
All right. I don't think they're going to get it.
No.
I don't think so. Hey, Sammy has aged gracefully, bro. He can still sing. Little rough. Getting rough.
What a life.
But yeah, what a class act.
All right. I want somebody to win this, man. It's got the circles tonight, fellas.
Circle guitar.
This is
Hey,
the
they get an A
circles
for
I
effort.
drew.
My goodness.
I drew
Tony.
this blind out of the...
These guys
Come
have
on, fellas.
brought
Bring
up
it.
Oh, good movie, Mad
titles
Max World. I
from
love
movies
that
that
movie.
I haven't even thought of in 35 years, 40
I
years.
know. Some
man.
great answers.
Brown Finger? Is that's not a real movie. Come on. At least not in the theaters.
North by
The regular
Northwest. That's a
theaters.
great guess there, Tom. Good guess.
Kelly's Heroes. That's a good one, too. Bleach Blanket Bimbos. Yeah. Andy Carson. That's a good one. Yep.
Andy, good to see you, man.
Dirty Dozen. Coconut Grove. Wow. This is... How much more time?
I don't know. I got a lot of tea left. I know that.
I've got plenty
Come on,
of beer.
fellas and ladies.
If you were going to give him a hint, I
don't know how
couldn't
you
even
could.
think of a way to give a hint. It's when you hear it, you're going to go like, "Oh, that sounds so
I was
Dave."
gonna stump him.
Hey, Tony, you know what? I suddenly forgot the title. Can you put it in a private chat? It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna close it out. We're not
Yeah.
seeing either you know this because you
I
heard him
haven't seen
say it or you have not. But
I have not seen it.
it would not be something that you would. But some great answers in the chat.
Yeah.
Some great answers. But yeah,
Rio Bravo, that's a good one.
I gotta keep them on the hard side, you know.
Yeah.
Boner jams.
I mean, I do. It's nearly impossible Van Halen trivia, so
Van
you know,
Halen's a good one
has to
too.
be difficult. I
Wow.
want you to win. I can't just. Then it wouldn't be nearly impossible. It'd just be Van Halen trivia at that point.
Another good guess, Hip Metal Works. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That's a good guess. Jimmy Ray's last guess there is a good guess. You see that, guys?
Oh yeah. Hercules. Wow.
What's the one with Charlton Heston?
One of the
I love
ties.
it. Made a lot of movies, bro.
You know what? Since this is what is going to have to happen here, this is what. Let me go back. Hang on. Let me go back. Because there it is. There it is. All right. So, this is what you're talking about, Charles?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, we're going to accept that Hercules as the correct answer. Jimmy Ray Hawkins, let me show you the answer.
Wow.
I can get back to
It
it.
trick you out. This is cool.
There
man.
is your answer. Hercules Unchained is the name of the flick.
Nice.
Jimmy Ray Hawkins said Hercules. We're going to accept it since there's not going to be anything
That's the closest
else even close in the same universe.
I didn't think anybody was going to get the second word. Very nice, guys.
Jimmy Ray Hawkins, you rock, bro. Have I got your address? Jimmy Ray, send me your address to the email down there. I think I do, but dude, you have scored the circles. We call it the Unchained guitar. Don't tell anybody. You scored the circles.
Oh, Jimmy Ray, you don't have to do that, bro. No. Look, Jimmy Ray, you're a really giving bro, dude. My goodness, you guys.
Yeah.
Tony gives me anything I want. Okay, guys, he will give me.
Charles is spoiled.
What did he say,
he
Charles?
does it for all of us. I don't mean it's just me. Tony is the most giving guy, and I really want you to have it, bro. If you want to give it to me, I'll take it, and I will love it and cherish it, and that from the bottom of my heart. But you guys don't have to give us stuff when you win it. You really don't. Tony hooks us up with anything we ask him.
I'll be right back.
But if you want to give it to me, I will accept it and love you for it, brother. It's one of my favorites. But you do not have to, brother. You really do not.
This isn't a pick. This is
it's
poker
a chip. It's a Circles poker chip.
So let us know in the chat. I'll gladly ship this to either one of you. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll talk, Jimmy Ray. He's so giving. My goodness, man. You're awesome, Jimmy. You're awesome.
Right
bro.
on, bro.
Thank you, Jimmy. I don't want to not accept his gift, you guys. I don't want to, but at the same time, we get to hang with Tony, and he gives us all kinds of cool stuff. If I see a pick and I really want one, he will give it to me. And so I just, thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate you, bro. I really do.
Right on, bro.
You're awesome.
Speaking of And I may be getting ahead of myself, but I don't give a shit. So, but
There's-
this Saturday, we're going to do another live stream called Show Me Your Pick. I'll show you art for that. We're talking about Neil Sean, but that is later. We'll talk about that. But speaking of Jimmy Ray Hawkins, he donated 2 prize packs.
Yes,
We
he
gave
did.
one away last Saturday on the show, and
What a
they
guy.
are, check it out, Mr. Billy Gibbons, his autograph and
Damn.
his guitar pick,
That is next level merch right there,
and
guys.
a cool drawing of his
Oh,
on the
that's
other
awesome.
Wow.
side.
Very cool.
But we're giving away this Saturday night, courtesy of Jimmy Ray Hawkins.
Right there, Jimmy Ray.
So thank you, brother. Andy, yours is on the way. Look for a red envelope, kind of like a Christmas card shaped envelope. Had to. So, yeah. Thank you, Jimmy Ray.
Yeah, Ryan, right there with you, brother. Right there with you, bro. Right there.
All right.
Very cool.
Okay.
Wow.
You know, Tony, you've been sporting that beautiful new shirt there all night and haven't really showed it off. And that's what we call a power color here in Halenville. I just want you to know that.
So, we and everybody is finally getting their merch. My light here obviously isn't good, but I chose the red shirt option, and there is a white and a gray shirt option, and there's a white and a black and a red option on the hat. 2 different styles of hats up there with different color options. I chose the black like that. But yeah,
Nice.
I got some show me your pick stuff too. Yeah,
That is
merch
so
is
cool.
starting to. There's a link down below. The merch store is just a couple of weeks old. Always look at the top where it says redeem. There's 20% off right now for a couple of more days, but there's constantly some sort of off. Always look at the top, but go over there, and if you like something, thank you for buying it. You know.
I believe the truck will be backing up to my home tomorrow with my major order.
Yeah, I'm sure by Saturday's show we'll all have our
Yeah,
stuff.
we'll be wearing it all.
It's something that we, had been meaning to do, and everybody's saying when is this going to happen? And so yeah, it was a little long overdue, but we did our own merch here, at the start, and that was in very limited supply. Halenville stuff, show me your pick stuff. But that's all gone. If you have any of that stuff, lucky you.
I used to watch the show all the time. I'd be in the chat going, where can I get that shirt? It's a year and a half ago or whatever it was. I couldn't wait to maybe win one. I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll win one in the trivia, but you stopped doing it, but at that point. But
Yeah.
but
Well,
now I'm glad it's
it
back
had
up.
run out though. That was just the first go after I started in 2020. Was all that was. But yeah,
Yep.
so yeah, it is up and running, and there's different things. There's lady stuff in the different styles, color options, and designs. So go check it out. Yeah. So yeah, showed this a while back, but for tonight. So as many times as I've moved in my life since, all of us move more when we're younger than when we're older. So you end up not having this or that, and you're lucky to still have this or that. But I guess I'm lucky to still have. I unearthed this a year or two ago.
It's been a little over a year, Tony.
Yeah, so you see this backpack here, but this is my let me hold it by the handle.
Tell the chat how old that backpack is, Tony.
God.
This thing is a flipping time capsule.
This is mine from 1983 and 1984.
Holy shit.
Wait till he pulls the stuff out. Oh my
Wow.
God.
Watch your profanity.
Oh, sorry.
So when I opened up the little zippy at the bottom,
Is there a bag of weed in there from 82?
No. I found that in my jean jacket. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But in this, so in the little zippy, in the pouch that you keep your pencils, brought my pencil. What do I find in there?
Something to write on, man? No?
Something to write on. I find stacks.
Cards? Baseball? No way.
I find stacks of, look.
Oh, Kiss
Roth.
cards.
Kiss
Oh, that's
cards.
awesome.
Wow.
Is it all Kiss cards?
All of them are Kiss cards.
Whoa.
Wow.
I don't know if it's all of them or they're numbered but
I had Elvis cards.
I was a Kiss kid. Sure
Wow.
I was. I
That
don't know
is
that I
awesome.
had all of them. That was during Alive too when that came. But so I opened this thing, right?
Jimmy Ray, I was wondering the same thing. Trapper Keeper.
Wow.
We all had those, right?
It's still in halfway decent shape.
That's in great shape.
But so inside,
Painter's caps.
zippers work great too, both of them.
Wow.
But inside these is, first of all, not that.
Holy shit.
First of all is
Watch your profanity.
Oh
this
my.
motherfucker.
Look at that.
Yep. The good old
That's-
painter's caps.
That's what you call authentic
Yes.
merch. Wow.
It's like see-through almost.
That's
wow.
old as you are, Charles.
Yes, it is.
But also in here, not one, but two of the painter's
US
hats from the
Wow.
US Festival.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Let me show you this thing.
Wow.
So you obviously didn't wear those.
I didn't go. I don't know. I've had these since
So at the festival,
the
Tony,
80s.
those were a thing. But
Yeah.
after the festival, they started popping up in like record stores, like that record store I was talking about down the hill
This
about a
is-
quarter
this
mile
is-
away.
There's one that has a pin on it. It's got I don't know what the fuck this is.
ETS?
ETS.
The hell is that?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
But I guess this is the same hat as
They popped up all over California at the record stores, and they were giving them away at the counter after, a couple of months after the festival.
Yeah. But that's what was inside. So, yeah. But, yeah. No, this is what my backpack was.
I'm guessing you were a bit of a fan, man.
High school. A little bit, I guess.
That's too cool, man. That is too cool. I got to tell you, those painter caps, I guess you could still find them if you wanted to buy one. But that is some obscure vintage Van Halen right there, man.
A
couple of my friends had those hats. I probably had one myself. But you didn't wear them. They were, if you were smart, you tucked them away, because painter's caps just get destroyed if you wear them. They don't last. They're made to get rid of.
But the painter's hats at the time, though, I don't know who ever got the idea. The painter's pants were in vogue there in the late 70s to the early 80s. But the painter's hats, all the bands sold painter's hats at the merch tent.
Yeah.
But I always thought, and even back then as a kid, like, it's a piece of shit hat. Who the hell is going to wear I wore hats all the time as a kid. Not a painter's hat, maybe at the beach or something, but
I can remember those being like just stuck up with like a tack on the side wall. There's some posters in friends of mine's bedrooms.
Yeah. Cody, I think I have an answer for you what the ETS means.
What?
It's called the Ticket to Ride, and it's the event transportation system. They had a bus.
Who's they? At the US Festival, you mean?
Yeah, at the US Festival. This ticket entitles the bearer to a one-way transportation between Los Angeles International Airport or the Ontario Airport and the US Festival site.
So the button got you on the bus. Is that what you're saying?
I think that's what it is. And there's also a ticket.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm looking at one that they're selling one on eBay right now. And there's also a program with a map. They're called ETS Travel Package. So they were part of the festival where you could get...
So you get bussed into the festival.
Travel on the U.S. bus or the U.S. train.
I got bussed as a kid, just not to the US Festival.
What, to school?
Yeah. And I mean that.
Yeah, so that's what it was.
You know how I meant that. Bust.
Cool,
you know what bust? Cool, I got bust. I was in the busing experiment a lot of you know what I'm talking about.
They did it in LA and California. They did it, period. It was really weird. I can remember being in like the 3rd and 4th grade. Yeah, 3rd and 4th grade, elementary school, and literally having friends. And the next year, they were going to other schools. It was really weird. It was weird. It was just weird.
It was a
strange
weird
time in history.
And, I think that was in a lot of areas of the country at that time, though, all at the same time. Yeah. But yeah, interesting time though. We can look back at what they did, this big body of work. but we were already really hooked, lock, stock. And I mean, you look back and we're on the internet and we talk about Van Halen and we love Van Halen. But man, we were just as nuts about Van Halen at 15 years old as we are now. You know.
Maybe even more so now.
Certainly know a lot more about the band now, and we're able to. The best part of it for me is I'm able to enjoy all the history that we got to experience.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well,
And it's amazing. Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
No.
I'm sorry.
No,
It's
ahead,
amazing for me personally in the last 2 to 3 years how much I've learned about Van Halen that I didn't have a damn clue about. I didn't even know. And then I started hanging around you guys and absorbing this stuff. You know, it's who you hang with, right?
Yeah. There's always more and more to learn.
It is very nice for me personally, and to do this show is such a pleasure, but it is nice that even old dudes like us go on the internet and people who love Van Halen, you know, you see them there, you hear them talking about Van Halen. You know, it's a cool thing. You know, we used to talk about Van Halen when, you know, I mean, back in the day, all day and night. You know,
we used to coming out of high school. The very first time, I guess it would have been 1980. The first time I can remember being in my friend Chris Walker's garage, anticipating the release of the new album and getting to listen to it as a group with your friends. That was priceless, absolutely priceless. And they never let us down, ever.
No,
they always came with something. Even in an album that might not be your favorite, it's still got something that is just to this day timeless.
Just the experience, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of the best times in my life was spent at a Van Halen concert.
Yeah.
Or Van Halen in the background for, you know, at a party or whatever, a barbecue or whatever the situation was. Yeah. And you know, and like you said, Charles, even if you didn't like a particular, you know, song or album or whatever it was, when they went on tour, you went to see it, and
that's right.
There's nothing more surreal than an Eddie Van Halen guitar solo.
No, there's not. That's true.
Even 2004.
That is true.
You know, the
will
hair
always
on my
say,
arms stand up when I think about it. Even.
Yeah. You can see the last show he ever played at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah,
he was a better guitar player that night than he was in 1980. He certainly was. It's a pleasure to watch him evolve. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're happy and sad at the same time when you watch it.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of emotions.
Yeah.
You know, who would have ever dreamed though? We other kids in school, I thought cool kids. We were, you know, athletes, but we listened to rock music and, you know, but we wore our Van Halen shirts at every damn chance we could. I mean, we wore them out.
Also, how many of you had to cover your books with a brown paper bag in school? Did you guys have to do that?
Yeah, they made us do that to protect the cover of the books.
And how many of you had the Van Halen logo on your book?
Oh, hell yeah.
I had no idea if it was English or math or what the book was. They all said Van Halen on them.
That's right. Van Halen was fun to do because it had the angles. Angles. Yeah. And if you timed it just right, you could take up almost half of a class period doing your artwork on a Van Halen logo.
It became a
You were
pro
really
at
good.
it.
You could stretch it over a couple of classes. So,
Especially if you tried to do the 3D version.
yeah, yeah. You remember the Peachy folder? Do you guys ever have the Peachy? It's got the sports figures, the cartoon. They weren't really cartoons, but they were hand-drawn graphics of like a football guy being tackled, or maybe
Oh
a
yeah,
guy
yeah,
being.
yeah. Someone mentioned
Remember
that in the
those?
chat.
Yeah, we used to take them and we'd change. We'd put like mustache and long hair on them and turn them into rockers. Make one playing a guitar or something like that. We used to enjoy doing that back in the day. This is well before the internet, you guys.
And
Yep.
I know it is weird. How'd we know? I've been asked that. Well, how'd you know that was going on? How'd you know about us fest living on the East Coast? How'd you know? We through rock radio
That's right.
and the invention of MTV and that coverage and um, record stores and the magazine store. That was all that you had.
That's right.
Local radio and your friends. And what
Yep.
was and
What else
it
did you
it
need?
was yeah it they ruled the the scene though. I mean it didn't matter about the radio or songs or I mean that you if there was a concert all year didn't matter if it was Ted Nugent or REO Speedwagon or who the hell ever, but you do not miss Van Halen. That was
No,
and
no. You'd be regretting it for an entire freaking year. You wouldn't know what to do. You'd be sitting around. You don't miss Van Halen back in the 80s. You did not
yeah,
miss
you
that
did
show. You
not
did not, because your whole life would be off kilter.
Mm-hmm.
You'd
even
be hearing your
even
friends at the party talking about the concert and you weren't there. Shit. That's a good reason to like sneak out of your house.
even multiple times
You know?
during tours and even going alone just
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
they're that close
Oh yeah.
not going no way
Yeah.
no way
Yeah.
so that I never let it happen I don't know I think in the uh, I did in the late tours
Tony's like,
but
fuck it, I'm going alone. Nobody wants to go with me.
no, I'm like I'm going, and who's the hype was there, and I'm going. Sometimes it would be, sometimes it'd be alone, but I mean to the other, the local ones,
Sure.
the Greensboro, Charlotte, that
Sure.
was. Well, but you start going to Hampton and
Hey,
Richmond and Roanoke.
but when you
Um,
got there, everybody was your friend. You
that's
all
right.
loved the same
That's
thing.
right.
So
That's
you
right.
had 10,000 friends.
Well,
So
but when you're in middle school and high school, and um, the Van Halen show night in high school, it was the biggest day of the year, bigger than Christmas. And I mean, let's to put things in perspective, how your heart felt about it, it was the biggest day of the year. Hands down, it was.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, yeah,
As it was.
and it stayed like that for a long time. It really stayed like that for the whole '80s. I'll say that
Yeah,
the
pretty
whole time,
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Even though they changed, but it was still. Um, but then when the '80s leave and you settle down a little and you get married and have kids and um, all of a sudden here we are. But you I mean when you are a fan at that early age like that, um, you're gonna be a fan your whole life.
That's
You
right.
know, doesn't matter if you go on the internet and talk about it or not. You're a lifer.
I can remember when Operation Mindcrime Queensryche came out. That album was huge, guys. It was huge. It impacted me major. It was my new thing, right? But it still didn't hold a candle to Van Halen. Period. Period. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were bands that took the limelight for a while. You know, Guns N' Roses, when they first came out, they kind of eclipsed people for a while. They, eclipsed other bands.
Well, I don't know that one band eclipsed the other, Ed. I look at it as an era thing.
Oh, they
It's
just
the
added
end
to
of
the
an
mix?
era.
Okay.
You know, this era, you can't really, apples and oranges are both fruit, but, you know.
So you could do the same analogy in sports, correct?
But see, GNR was like any band that did something that wasn't normal at that time, they were the gateway between 80s rock and grunge.
Right,
You know?
right.
So they came along at a perfect time. So it
So you think they were just carrying the flag, in other words?
They're just rocking out, doing their thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's changed. You know, the popularity of what people's favorite, rock band is in the current year is based on a lot of things. It's based on, who's out there and who's still doing it and who's new, what the popular, you know, opinion is across the board. There's I just think that a lot of people aged out. I mean,
Do you think
a
it's going to
lot
come
of
back around?
even I mean, Eddie had kids, started having kids same time I started, same time a lot of us started having kids. So when the
Yeah.
90s came, we were
Yeah, I had kids in the
different
mid-90s.
people.
Yeah.
We were different.
So do you think a lot of people are going to see how much there's a lot of shit music out there right now, and that they're going to come back around to and get sort of nostalgic? Not nostalgic as far as, but I mean the younger generation. They're gonna.
I hope so.
There's already that resurgence, so to speak, with a lot. I mean, if you look on YouTube and look at all these young guitarists. Look at all these the raps and all these guys we've had on, and look at Wolfie, obviously. They're carrying on the rock, and hopefully they keep doing it, and I think it's gonna
the way
continue,
the internet is, and so everything's so accessible. As many great young guitar players that are out there now. I think the direction of music isn't going to be exactly what we loved in the 80s, but I'm really liking what I'm hearing out of Mammoth WVH and really looking and waiting for August 4th for Mammoth 2. That's August 4th, so I don't know if it'll show up that
coming up
day.
quick.
It's on a Friday. That day is August 4th. So I'm looking. I like the way the debut album sounds. I really love the album. I'm hearing good things about the rest of this album that we have not heard.
I've got a question for you about that.
Rocks.
I've got a quick question for you about Wolfie and Mammoth. Do you think he'll ever let go of the reins and sort of let the other band members help out with the writing and the playing of the instruments, or do you think he's just going to keep doing it himself?
I think he'll keep on. I think that was an aspect that he got naturally off his dad. Not that his dad preached, you only need to do this, but it just everything is right there. And if you got another guy and you're gonna have to go back anyway, and you're the you know, producer, mixer, engineer, everything, and the musician and the singer. Fuck it, do it yourself.
Kind of like
You
Prince.
know, right? I mean, he's got every tool known to music at his disposal, right there at 5150. So I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't surprised a bit. They graciously help, and Wolf graciously accepts their help, I'm sure. But it's his thing. He
Hmm.
he can do it any way he wants to do it. I kind of admire it though. I mean, for him to play everything, you
Yeah.
know,
It's
to
crazy.
have those ideas. It's one thing to have a riff or idea of a song, and then all of a sudden you got this musician, which you don't play a lot of that instrument, saying, "Hey, this sounds good." And you got that you don't play a lot of that in. You know what I'm saying? He plays all these instruments, and he's that creative on all of them at one. It's awesome.
But
So
isn't there something to be said about the creative process with having 3 or 4 other guys around you, bringing in ideas, or does he just do it on? Does he lock himself in 5150 like his dad did, and just do everything himself?
I just think it's
That's what
just a
I'm wondering.
different process, a different way that he goes about it, you
Yeah.
know. And so at the end of the day, he looks around and he's done everything himself. Why
Right. Right.
not?
Yeah.
You
Ben
know,
Thomas, right? Ed set him up with all the tools he'll ever need. Right. Yeah.
right. So yeah, it's easy for him to do everything and anything. You know, it's all he's got to do. Anything he wants is right there.
And you make all the money that way too if you get all the writing credits.
Name on the band is WVH.
Yeah. I guess that's true, Charles. Yeah.
Well, I think it is cool that he keeps the same band and they're all tight. Um, and us, the fans, have grown. We've accepted and grown to like them and how they play Wolf's music live. And so that's been a couple of years now, and
Yep.
they're awesome. I hope they keep the same. I understand the thing with the Frank and going
Hmm.
over to Slash is his first. Yeah.
That's a good
Um,
point, Ben Tom. It worked for Boston. Yes. Tom Schultz did it all, and then he
yeah,
presented
that was
it to.
just an idea that he
Yeah.
had. I mean,
Yeah.
but Wolf worked. He had worked on this music in different stages,
Hmm.
from little to big for many years, and of course that got held off with his stuff happening in his family.
Right.
I mean, but he learned well. He's a young man and he's kicking ass. And it's my wish and hope that the direction of music and rock music is where the hell Wolfgang Van Halen is taking it. And I do think that he is. And in 10, 15 years, when we look back of what he's done, I think that hopefully might come a little true, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we wish him the best out there. I think they have taken a little break from the road. They've been in Europe
Yes.
all summer and they're coming stateside in August. Yeah. Bunch of dates. We'll be covering the Mammoth, the Pawns and Kings, plus them doing the M72 with Metallica. Metallica. Yeah, but looking forward and hopefully Mammoth WVH adding a date or two. Richmond, Charles, is the closest thing happening on the Mammoth schedule there, but hopefully they'll as they start to play and
No way
maybe
in
they'll.
hell we missed this Tony, that's
Maybe
all I'm
they'll
saying.
add
This time,
a
right?
show
Yeah.
or two along. They have every run they've taken, so we'll see. We'll see. But we'll be covering a whole lot of Mammoth WVH soon as they come stateside. Looking forward to that. But
That's a fact. That is a fact.
but yeah, yeah.
Kurt says that Eddie Van Halen's name was removed from iTunes on the writing credits on all Van Halen songs. What the hell?
Why?
Yeah, what's up with that?
There's a story.
Just because
there,
he passed away?
That doesn't make any sense.
Huh.
I don't have the story up. I think it's page 1 on the Van Halen news desk, but Wolfgang Van Halen and Slash have both played guitar on a track to an upcoming Barbie movie.
That's right.
And
That's right. Wolfie posted about that. He went to the premiere.
The soundtrack, the premiere and the soundtrack, I think I read July 21st is coming out. We can hear that. So him and Slash. So
You tell me I gotta go to a flipping Barbie movie just to get my Slash and Wolf on?
Yeah, that's it, dude.
Well, darn it, I've gone through worse. That's all I'm saying.
Remember the Nissan commercial with the with Panama when G.I. Joe grabbed Barbie and Ken was in the balcony like, what the fuck?
That was merchandising and marketing old school. That was absolute finest. My God, man.
All right.
You rock, Patty. You rock, girl.
Yeah.
Thanks, Patty.
Yeah, thank you, Patty. You rock, girl. Right on. And thanks to everybody too tonight. Thanks for hanging out. We talk Van Halen here every Tuesday. Yeah. Thanks for being here. So check it out. So next week on this show and this channel, but this show next week, where is it at? Yeah. So next week we are gonna cover, and I hope we cover this very well. We're gonna have a very special guest who I cannot let you know who that is yet because I haven't had the proper authorization, I don't think. But so we're having a special guest here next week, and we're going to cover a very important topic. We talk Van Halen here on the internet every Tuesday, but before, in the early days of the internet, there was the Van Halen mailing list.
Yeah.
And we have a very important guest who was a key player in the mailing list, and we're going to talk all about that. Guy was too, right there.
He was.
And
yep,
we're going to talk.
Kurt 5150.
Yeah. So we want to bring you guys the history of the mailing list and everything, and yeah, that's next week. We got a special guest for it. Once again, the mailing list show. That's next week. Yeah. All right. So, and also this weekend, Charles Green, one of my favorite guitar players of all time. and a pretty decent guitar player at that. But one of my favorites of where the hell? Oh, there it is. All right. So Saturday night, we're going to come back and convene. Hope you can join us for Show Me Your Pick. We talk guitar picks and rock memorabilia here, and we got some pretty cool ass shit to show you this week. But we this week, where is it? There it is. Are talking Neil Sean. Saturday night, right?
Patty actually had it, you guys,
Beautiful.
before you put it up, Tony.
Right
Yeah.
on.
She's in tune with
Cool.
what's going on. I love
All
Neil
right,
Sean.
Patty.
Very cool.
Right on.
Very cool.
Thank you, Patty. Yeah, we'll be talking Neil Sean and all things Neil
All
Sean.
right.
Saturday night.
2 shows to look
Got a
forward
very
to.
interesting career. That's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah. We get to talk a lot of course, Journey, but some Santana.
Oh, yeah.
Hey now, but we get to talk some
HSAAS.
we get to talk some bad English too.
Oh, that too. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot to cover.
And a couple of his other side stuff that he used to do. You remember the Sean and Hammer thing?
Mm-hmm.
Remember
Jan
that?
Hammer. Jan
Yeah.
Hammer. Yes.
Oh,
I was
Mr.
fortunate enough to
Mr.
see
Keytar.
Bad English at the Coach House in San Juan Capistrano in California with a
Wow.
bunch of friends of mine. That was super cool. I'll tell you a story about that on the show.
Yeah, dude. I burnt the Bad English CD up last weekend, man. You know every song on the record. 2 members of Neil Sean, Jonathan Kane with them.
And John Waite from the Babies was
John
the lead
Wayne,
singer.
yeah.
God, it was a great show, you guys. I'm having flashbacks right now.
That's awesome.
Wow.
All right, but that is Saturday night. We'll be talking Neil Sean and hanging out, having fun on the weekend, and yeah. Why have I still got that in here? That was last week. That's some old stuff hanging around. That's some old stuff. All right. I got the tiebreaker question in here still. I think I'll keep it.
Yeah, hold on to that.
You got to tuck that one away for a rainy day.
No, it's sitting right here where I can find it.
Oh.
That's just wrong.
Oh, man.
That's what I
Damn.
said. Damn.
Damn,
Right
son, where'd
where
you
I
find
can
this?
find it. Yeah. All right, kids. So we're going to wind things down. Everybody, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your week. Leave a thumbs up here on the video down there on your way out. Subscribe here if you are not already. We talk Van Halen, the mighty Van Halen, every Tuesday. Yeah, thank you for that. And
Hey, Tony, thank you for
otherwise,
the.
we'll see you Saturday right back here on the channel. Have we got any last words there, Charles Green?
Come on, Charles.
Hey, guys, just don't forget this is Halenville, and around here, it doesn't matter if you go north, south, east, or west. Every single road is going to lead you straight to Van Halen, guys. Have a great week. Be well. Do something nice for someone for no reason whatsoever. I swear to God, you'll feel better. and rock on. Take care, you guys. Love you. Oh, man, I miss John Mancuda. I freaking love you, John.
Oh, Mancuda's
Miss you,
awesome.
brother.
My name is Jeff.
Too cool, man.
That's awesome.